This morning, we have an important health alert about children and their safety. Earlier this week, a 2-year-old died of what is being investigated as a possible accidental shooting. It happened as the boy's family was moving into a home in Panama Park. You saw it here as breaking news on the morning show. And then last February, a 3-year-old playing in a home on Mecca Street found a gun and accidentally shot his mother, Angelica Byers, killing her. And when he walked up to his mom, she thought it was a toy gun that he was holding. And then 3 months before that, in December of last year, a 20-month-old was critically wounded when he was accidentally shot by his 5-year-old brother inside a home on Jernigan Road. According to the journal Pediatrics, firearm-related deaths are the 3rd leading cause of death overall among children between 1 and 13 years old here in our country. They're also the 2nd leading cause of injury-related death, surpassed only by car accident injury deaths. Think about that for a minute. Pediatrician Dr. Randell Alexander is joining us via Zoom this morning to help us have this conversation with other adults who live with us, maybe the adults who are in the homes of children that our children are visiting. It's an important conversation. Good morning, Doctor. Thanks for being with us.
Hi.
Do you know, it feels, Doc, like we shouldn't have to tell people to be careful where they put or store their loaded guns, but we still see accidental shootings of the ones that I just rattled off. Do you think that people just don't, they assume that the child's not going to find the gun?
I think so. I think that people think that children have better developmental capabilities than they do. I think they think sometimes they have this great judgment that they don't really have. That's particularly true for toddlers, of course, and other young children. We know that most kids know where the guns are in the home. We've got surveys that say about 1/3 of the homes that have handguns, they're loaded and not locked up. And so that's just a dangerous situation waiting to happen.
What's your message then to gun owners who maybe make an assumption that they've hidden it well enough that it won't be found?
Well, think back to their own childhood. They know better. They know that they knew things. Kids are smart and they figure things out. And really, is that what you want to trust, is that somehow you're real good at hiding? I think instead what you want to do is you want to lock up your stuff, which is what police do with their guns. You want to be careful, with such a dangerous device in the home. And a lot of responsible gun owners do that. I think some people are so concerned that something's going to happen, however small the odds, that they're willing to risk potentially the life of their child. And that's not what they really want. But, I think sometimes we have such a militarization of how we think about some of these things in society that we don't stop and dial back a little bit and say, look, let's be safe.
A lot of this responsibility, I think, also falls on the parent if you have a gun in your home. But also, what suggestions do you have to parents? Kids are spending more time probably at home, or maybe are able to go to a neighbor's house, to a friend's house because they are bored. Not a lot going on with the pandemic. Yeah. About that conversation that me as a parent needs to have with the parent, who's basically hosting a play date, as an example, if that parent has a gun in the home.
Well, I think that, you want to check out, where's your child going? We'd ask about, tell us the name, address, who are they seeing? We'd ask about pool safety. We want to know about that. Is there something there that could be dangerous? And I think even though your child might think, oh, dad, oh, mom, this is terrible, ask about, well, do you have guns in the home? And, what do you do about that? And then the children themselves, we need to instruct them and say, listen, if you're such situation, a gun comes out, get out of there, right away. Use us as the excuse, the parents as the excuse, but whatever it is, just get out of there, because there's no good reason to take a chance on these things. That's different than, if you're out with an adult and, there's a gun safety program going on, that's different. But we're talking about when kids play with guns.
So it's interesting. I know, in addition to your work with U of Health, you are also on the child protection team. So basically, clinically, investigate cases of child abuse. A gun left attended, can, and while you don't handle criminal charges by any means, but can lead to criminal charges, can it not, in terms of neglect? That, if for some reason, gun owners are thinking that, they don't have to worry about this, the reality is they could end up getting into trouble legally.
Well, they could. We look at it, is it a neglect issue? And of course, a lot of times it is going to be a neglect issue. The consequences for that is perhaps some social services intervention, but the police are going to look at it as this a crime. And in the state of Florida, we have a reasonably strong law, as do several other states, that says you're responsible. And if that kid gets into something because you laid a gun around and you didn't lock it up safely, you could go to jail.
Dr. Randell Alexander joining us this morning. Thank you. An important conversation we need to be having with our children and other parents as well. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.